Welcome and Merry Christmas. Let's begin with our favorite carol, Deck the Hall with Boughs of Holly, number 235, but the words will be projected on the front. So please rise in body and spirit. There we go. Fast away the old year passes. La 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses. La 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 la. Sing we joyous all together. La 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather. La 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 la.
Sermon or homily, that is my gift to you. Instead, you will be invited to share Christmas stories of your own with each other and sing some favorite carols. So be thinking about which one you want to pick, what story you want to share, what memory you want to share. But let us begin by saying together our affirmation. Love is our passion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world. This morning, we light only the chalice of our congregation, but we also remember our sister church in Simenfalva, Romania, and our youth. And as you will recall, on each of the last 4 Sundays, we lit candles on the Advent wreath, first for hope, then for peace, joy, and lastly, love. Today, we light them again for the last time this year with the central candle, which shines as the symbol of our faith. Going to work? Yeah, the wicks get heavy with wax and they drip over. They're tired. Okay. So let us now sing each flame into life. And speaking of joy, every Sunday we remember joys and concerns. This Sunday, I have to report that Lorraine Stewart, our beloved Lorraine, we celebrated just 2 Sundays ago, is in the hospital. I have no other information for you. Leslie Zygan Ask that you remember my friend Susan, who has just finished radiation for breast cancer. Dan and Jenny Vallis, or Vals, I'm not sure it's how it's pronounced. Ask that you remember her daughter, their daughter, Claire, who is traveling abroad for 10 days. They ask that we pray for safe travels and joyful memories for her. And now, Barbara will pass around the mic if you would like to add any joys or concerns this morning. Just raise your hand and she'll show you the mic. Here, Barbara, I'll do it. I know.
Hello? My concern is for those people who are not able to be with their loved ones today, like me and other family, and for my semi-adopted daughter who was hoping to join me here this morning, who became ill just before the service. So I'm hoping she's okay. Louise Myers.
We have a concern for our son-in-law who lost his grandmother the day before yesterday, LaFern Pratt. Rest in peace.
And I want to express a joy for all the wonderful people we're sharing Christmas with this year. Thank you very much.
Those were the Gregs. If you could state your name. First name is fine.
Yes, I'm John Brandyberry. I retired from being a psychiatric social worker at the hospital and always enjoyed being able to give gifts of love and caring when I was there on the inside. My best friend, I taught him to quit being an aide and go to graduate school. Showed him the way in and was his mentor. He's having triple bypass surgery today, and I want him around.
Hi, this won't sound, we have kind of a bittersweet Christmas this year because it's our first Christmas that we don't have either of our children with us, who are adult children. So this is the first time. Our daughter was here last night for Christmas Eve, but the ice storm, we had planned to spend much more time together, and the ice storm sort of put a nix on that like it did for many people. But the joyful part is that we can be here with all of you, and that, you know, we were expecting our kids this to happen, but we weren't expecting it quite so soon. So, anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. My name is Faith Rockenstein, and as everybody has mentioned, it's a hot and cold day. It's either really great or it's neutral or it's really horrible. And I want to, for myself and for others, to take that burden away from us, that every day is Christmas. We are so fortunate to be alive and to have the gifts of people, of friendships in our life every day. And so I'm grateful for this church that I can be creative, sing, and do my artwork. So my gift is thank you.
Hi, my name's Sarah, and with my husband Joe, and I have was thinking about two people I know who are going through their first Christmas after losing longtime spouses. So I know that's difficult for them. And also, we were going through downtown Salem today, and we saw quite a few homeless people on the sidewalk, and thinking about them. And also a joy, and I'm just really appreciate all of you who have worked so hard to put on the Christmas Eve and the Christmas Day services so that we could all be here together. And I really appreciate everybody here and being part of the community here. Thank you.
So I'm going to light the 3 candles. For the first 3 that I mentioned, haven't lit candles for. One more candle for all the joys and concerns that were not expressed here, but were felt somewhere by someone.
Nobis pacem, pacem, dona nobis pacem, dona nobis pacem, dona nobis nobis pacem, dona nobis pacem.
Give us peace. Your presence here is a gift to each other. We invite you now to share with the congregation any favorite Christmas stories or memories that you may have. As Barbara walks toward you, I'm going to do what I told Barbara I wouldn't do, which was share my Christmas story. I'm about 6 years old. My dad is a Navy officer, and we're in the Bahamas. And suddenly, on one day of the Christmas season, it wasn't Christmas Day, it was a little later, there was a lot of noise at the front door. And my brother and I, Jimmy, go to the front door, and there are a lot of strange people outside wearing, look like paper mache or colorful costumes. I couldn't see their faces, and I didn't know who they were, and they were yelling and they were clanging instruments, mostly percussion, and they were singing stuff I couldn't understand, and I didn't know what was going on. My parents never told me anything about this. And then my dad came to the door and he started laughing. And I said, "Dad, what is it?" He said, "John Canoe." Kids, when they don't hear things the first time, don't understand their parents. It turned out it was later I learned it was John Canoe. John Canoe in the Bahamas is one of the ways they celebrate Christmas. And what happens is that the native people come around to the doors, and like on Halloween, they want you to give them a gift. So they sing songs and they will stay until you give them a gift. It can be money, but they prefer liquor. End of story.
Yeah, in 1957, I was 7 years old, and my dad said, "Okay, kids, get in the car. We're going out for Christmas Eve." And he had the station wagon. He had a reel-to-reel in the back. seat and a speaker on top of the car, totally illegal now, roaring out Christmas songs and having us go door to door and sing for families. And we had little cups that we got from the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I said, I'm just a little missionary trying to do my part. So put some money in my can and I will kindly depart. And I became a social worker.
Hi, my name's Pam. I have a lot of great memories that of family that are no longer with us, and so sometimes at Christmas it's a little sad missing them. But one of my favorite memories was when our oldest child was maybe around 4 or 5 years old. I just checked in on his little sister. She was sound asleep, and I could hear some noise outside his bedroom door. I opened the door, and we lived in Tempe, Arizona at the time, so it was a little bit warmer there. He had pushed the window open, and his one leg was over one side and the other. He was straddling the window base. He had his Cubs hat on, and he had his choo-choo train whistle, and he was out there waving something. He was wanting to just, make sure Santa Claus didn't miss our house. So I don't know what hour it was. I just remember it was just a great scene, and I wish there was iPhones back then. I would have loved to have taken a picture of that.
My happiest Christmas seasons were in Ottawa, Canada. They have something called Winterlude, which is like the winter season festivities where they build these giant snow sculptures that are the size of this church, and they also build ice sculptures. And since my mother and I are skaters, we skate on the canal, which is like either the longest or the second longest skating surface in the world.
Hi, I'm Louise. My favorite memory is when I was little, we opened presents on Christmas Eve. And every year, my dad would say, let's go for a walk and look for Santa Claus, see if he's coming. And we would always walk down the road, and he'd do all kinds of dramatic gestures. And, oh, I think I saw him. Here he comes. And did you hear the jingle bells? I swear I heard those jingle bells. Right. And when we got home, Santa had already been there. My mom would be, oh, you just missed him. I tried to hold on to him. She was not a dramatic kind of person, but Christmas Eve was her time to speak up. And we never caught on year after year after year. And I still miss those times. That was really fun.
Hi, I'm Kathleen. I have a lot of furniture and art and antiques from my family, and one of them is a very nice, high-quality couch, and that I love. And my memory of that is I was, sometime when I was a child, I was kneeling on the couch. It was up against, there was a window behind us, so I was up against the wall. And I was looking, and I wanted to stay up. It was Christmas Eve. I didn't want to go to bed. And I think I thought I was going to stay up and see Santa Claus or something. But anyway, I remember looking out the window, and there was a full moon, and there were some clouds, and I saw something that looked like Santa Claus in his sleigh going across the full moon. I went to bed so fast.
When I was a child, I was very sick, and I'd spent I won't go into that, but I spent 6 weeks in intensive care. And when I got home, I was released right before Christmas. And because I'd been so sick and still had some things to work on, I wasn't able to go see Santa Claus, go sit on his lap. So what happened was Santa Claus came to me, and later I found out that 2 Santa Clauses had come to me, and my mother had to shoo one away. So one was our priest, and one was, I don't know, I've forgotten who, but it's just a funny story.
So I had the joy of living on the island, the big island of Hawaii, for 3 years. And one of the Christmases, I wasn't going to be able to leave, and I was going to be by myself, and I didn't have any family. I had a lot of friends, but you know, friends have families, and this is usually a special day for them. So I decided about 2 weeks before Christmas that I was going to bake cookies, shortbread, with real butter, with really good stuff, decorate them, get candies, put them in a container, little plastic bags, and I had about 100 of them. And I took these bags and I put them in my car on Christmas morning, and I drove around the island and distributed them to anybody homeless that I saw. And at first, because I lived in Waikoloa Beach Resort, and if you know where that is, it's a gated community, and you're not going to be homeless there. And so I would head up north, and not to spoil the story, but I got rid of all of the bags within like 3 hours, all of the bags, and there were still homeless people. But up in Waimea, which is this little town, there's a theater and then a picnic shelter. And I saw several people there, and one gentleman was walking across the road, and I got out of my car and I said, "Merry Christmas, sir, would you like some cookies?" And he goes, "Yes, and I would like to unwrap you." And I said, "Sir, that is most likely the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me in a long time." So that's kind of one of my fun, humorous things. But anyway.
Story to be continued later. I just wanted to share that we probably wouldn't be doing this today, but that Bob's daughter, my stepdaughter, and her 2 children, our grandchildren and husband, left for the Netherlands in May, and they would normally be here, and we'd be celebrating Christmas together. But we talked to them over the phone this morning, FaceTime. But I wanted to share this image. Laurelyn, the daughter, she called a few weeks ago. It's not Christmas per se, but it's December, and they start Christmas on December 5th. They're Dutch traditions there. It's cold enough that the canals in the Netherlands have frozen over, and she was so happy that the kids had skates and they were skating on the canals, and it just made me so happy because as a child, we had ponds everywhere. I grew up in Massachusetts, and there were lots of man-made ponds for mills, and we skated a lot, and it was just the best thing for little kids to just be out there with nothing on their mind but the sound of skates on ice. So that's my story. Anybody else?
Yeah, this is kind of like a cooking story. When I was about 5 years old, my mother decided she was going to make us a special Christmas dinner. Well, first, I should tell you that we were living in Portage, Alaska, and our home was a rail car off the tracks. And so when she decided she was going to have a nice special dinner for us, and we had all our presents piled up under the tree and everything, and we were sitting in the living room listening to the radio, and the started smelling something, and it turned out she was cooking sauerkraut I guess it was some kind of meat and sauerkraut, and the sauerkraut had caught on fire in the oven. And so my father quick went and got the CO2 fire extinguisher, which we had, and when he opened the door, the nozzle on the fire extinguisher melted. We made it out of the house. At the time, there's no water service, so what we had was a big tanker car that you had to chop the ice off the spigot in order to get the water. And the whole town got together, and they were carrying buckets of water from the tanker to put out the fire. And naturally, the place burned down. But our neighbors took us in, and they made us welcome. And then my parents and our neighbors' kids' parents all went out dancing and left us all alone. And the next day, Salvation Army showed up from Anchorage, and they brought us all kinds of Christmas gifts and household goods, and we got into a new boxcar the next day. So it was a really a special Christmas.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure there are more memories, but you can see how memory itself is a gift. And I thank each of you for the rest of you for the gifts you offered this morning. Our offerings help support the work of this congregation. This month, the plate offering of each service will be going to our minister's discretionary fund. Unfortunately, Rick has informed us that the fund is running low, and then during these cold, wintry nights and days, many of the homeless are unable to pay for the basics. Heat, well, the homed and the homeless, heat, rent, gas, and groceries. The fund provides help, sometimes just enough to keep people safe, warm, and fed. We ask you to consider this need with generosity, and we thank you for your kindness. For those who would like to donate by mail or in person, the slide above shows you how to do it. And if you cannot read it because the text is small, if you go to the web page for UUCS, UUSalem.org, you'll see a place for donations on that slide, and it'll explain, or on that web page, and it'll explain how to go about doing that. So there's some more sharing by you about to take place. We're going to have a carol sing-along. This is your time to pick your favorite. John and Barbara will then accompany you, and we'll get it done.
Much as we'd like to open it up to requests, I think Barbara and I have already kind of made our set list here. We're going to start off. It's 2:45 in the gray hymnal, and all these songs will be in the gray hymnal, by the way.
So find a hymnal in the seat, maybe in front of you or to the side. Going to actually use them today.
And you probably know this song anyway. I think, Barbara, are we going to do the first two verses?
Yeah, we'll just do the first two verses of each one, okay? It's cool.
All right.
All right, and do you want to stand? If you want to stand, please do. If you don't...
the lesson. This is a Unitarian hymnal, and if you're used to the other words, the more traditional words, well, surprise. So make sure you look, but you can sing whatever words you want. We're going to turn to Angels We Have Heard on High, which is what?
231, I think.
231, we think.
Let's go and make sure.
Yeah,
that's
231. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous hymns. In excelsis Deo, Gloria, in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why these songs of happy joy? What great brightness did you see? What glad tidings did you hear? In excelsis Deo. Okay, very nice.
one more.
And feel free to harmonize. If you know the harmony, do it. How about "O Come All Ye Faithful"? 253. 253. And we're going to skip the Latin first verse and go right to the English. But notice that notice there is Latin at the end, the refrain. So, but all right,
Let's
hit it,
see.
John.
I wonder, could we do 1 and 3 on this?
Okay.
1 and 3.
All right, let's try 1 and 3.
It's got a more
Okay.
familiar
Yeah.
verse there.
Come all ye faithful, triumphant, O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold, born the King of angels. Venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exultation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven. Glory to God, glory in the highest. Venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, ut Dominum. Right. And do we have one more? Is that it? I think we did it. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Oh.
Or save it for we wish you a merry
Okay.
later on.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. We will do Wish You a Merry Christmas in a moment. So there will be a service on New Year's Day. It's always a question, but there will be. Barbara and Stebbins Bowes and Sarah Pickett, who's in the back doing our video this morning, will lead in an interactive service, letting the old year go and inviting simple gifts that can be used to support us in the new year. There will be a continental breakfast following, and while I'm mentioning that continental breakfast, we do have refreshments here this morning, so don't leave the building without getting something. Let's see, I'm trying to find out where I am now. News of the community is available online on our webpage, on Facebook, also through our weekly news message to you, usually by email, and our monthly newsletter, which will be coming out in a little over a week. If you're not on the newsletter list, please call the office and we'll put you on. Now we light the social justice candle, which is not here. It is? Where is it? Oh, it's back there. Recalling that our service to others bring light into the world. We will find a way. And we extinguish the candles of this service. But not what they represent. Before we sing our final song, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, let us affirm our faith again with these words. May faith in the Spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.
No hymnal, we're just going to go for it.
Yeah.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding and bring it right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring it right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. That was 9 for me. Yeah. High 9. I have students at school that go, hey, Chamber, give me a high 4.
We had talked about a request, and I met about the message.
It's okay.
It's about as smooth as everything else that went today. No worries.
No problem.
Not at all.
No problem. It's so nice to see you, David.
Thank you.